Chapter 1956. Date: October 20th, freshman party? Performance? Su Shirhan was speechless. What did Lin Yi find for her? She was a top star in Asia, yet she was attending a freshman party. However, since Lin Yi invited her, she couldn't refuse. She said, "I've rejected all the other people who asked me to hold a concert, but I promise you that I will attend the freshman party." "Huh. Thank you," Lin Yi said. "No need to thank me. Who told you to cure my headache?" "I should be the one thanking you," Su Shirhan said. "When is it?" "Wait, let me ask," Lin Yi said and turned to Bai Wei Tuo. "When is the freshman party?" "The night after tomorrow," Bai Wei Tuo said subconsciously. "The night after tomorrow," Lin Yi said to Su Shirhan. "Where are you?" "Songshan?" Su Shirhan remembered the time and asked. "No, I'm at Donghai Industry University," Lin Yi said. "I understand. I'll go there tomorrow. Can you pick me up at the airport?" Su Shirhan asked. "Okay, I'll pick you up." Lin Yi didn't mind being a chauffeur since he needed someone to do something for him. Su Shirhan was attending the event on her own, so the organizer wouldn't prepare a car. "Then I'll see you tomorrow," Su Shirhan said. However, as soon as Su Shirhan finished speaking, Wang Si's voice came from the other side. "Han, didn't we agree to shoot the cover of the new album tomorrow?" "Oh, I'll do it in a few days," Su Shirhan said carelessly. "What's up?" Lin Yi asked. "Nothing, I dropped it," Su Shirhan said. "Huh, then I'm really flattered. You have quite a lot of face," Lin Yi joked. "You finally know how big your face is? I thought you didn't know." Su Shirhan snorted and hung up the phone. Lin Yi shook his head helplessly, but when he raised his head, he saw the three guys in the dormitory looking at him in disbelief. "Big brother Lin, you really know Su Shirhan?" Bai Wei Tuo asked in disbelief. "Yes," she agreed. Lin Yi nodded. "It can't be." Bai Wei Tuo pinched his face hard. "Am I dreaming?" "Big brother Lin, you're too awesome. It feels so good to turn defeat into victory." Bai Wei Tuo didn't doubt the authenticity of Lin Yi's call at all, because in his eyes, there was no need for Lin Yi to lie to him. Calling Su Shirhan meant calling Su Shirhan. But Bai Wei Tuo was a little surprised. Lin Yi even knew Su Shirhan, and he seemed to be quite familiar with her. "Hee, shouldn't we go to class?" Lin Yi said, "It's no problem for me to ask for leave, but if you don't go to class, I'm afraid, boss, I won't let you go easily, right?" "Damn class." Bai Wei Tuo looked at his watch and quickly put on his coat and ran out of the dorm. When he came to the classroom, Lin Yi saw Han Jingjing sitting next to Wang Xinyan. She was whispering something to Xinyan, which made Lin Yi frown. He'd gotten used to sitting at the same table with Xinyan these past couple of days, and Han Jingjing was taking a seat. He wasn't used to it. However, when Han Jingjing saw Lin Yi, she stood up and sat behind him, giving the seat to Lin Yi. This made Lin Yi a little surprised. Seeing Han Jingjing's action, Wang Xinyan blushed. This was too obvious. Anyone could see that her relationship with Lin Yi wasn't normal. Otherwise, in a class, there would only be two girls together. Lin Yi didn't care so much and directly sat next to Wang Xinyan. "You've recovered from your cold?" It's much better." Wang Xinyan thought of the ambiguous scene in the car yesterday, and her face became even redder. "Big brother Lin Yi, didn't you ask for leave today? Why are you here again? If I knew you would come to school today, I would have hitchhiked with you." Han Jingjing sat behind Lin Yi and said to Lin Yi, "How did she know he asked for leave?" But thinking of yesterday, he told Bai Wei Tuo that he might not come today and asked him to ask for leave on his behalf. It should be from Bai Wei Tuo yesterday, or Wang Xinyan told her yesterday afternoon. "Don't you have your own car?" Lin Yi asked back. "Didn't you already know the classroom? Why are you still hitchhiked? Aren't we saving energy and reducing emissions now? People don't drive. Sitting in your car can protect the environment." Han Jingjing said matter-of-factly. "It's more environmentally friendly to walk." Lin Yi said with some speechlessness. "There's a hitchhiker. Why do I walk? Isn't that stupid?" Han Jingjing asked with a surprised face. Lin Yi was speechless about Han Jingjing's IQ. This girl wouldn't have 100,000 whys, right? She was always saying why and whys, but it seemed like she was very reasonable. So Lin Yi didn't know how to answer. "If I buy a car and let you hitchhike, isn't that stupid?" "Why? You don't have to spend a penny more for gas. It's on the way anyway." Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi strangely. "But why should I give you a ride?" According to what you said, can I live in your villa? Lin, he had a headache because of Han Jingjing's thinking. Because we are neighbors and classmates. Do you want to live in my villa? Okay, I'll help you clean up a room at night. It just so happens that my brother and I are scared. Han Jingjing said, okay, you can continue to hitchhiker, forget about cleaning up the room. Lin, he was defeated. This girl's thinking was too weird. Lin, he felt that if he continued to argue with her, it would only become more and more troublesome. He might even become crazy. Wang Xinyan saw Lin, he being defeated, and couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. This Han Jingjing was really interesting, and the questions she asked were so cute. Han Jingjing's mouth flashed a trace of a successful smile, and Lin, he didn't say anything because Boss Bai had arrived. Just as Boss Bai said, most of the courses in the medical profession were taught by him part-time. Lin Yi's medical skills, under the training of old Lin since he was young, was already at the top level. But unexpectedly, some of Boss Bai's theories gave Lin Yi a refreshing feeling. It was clearly some of the most basic pharmacology knowledge, but it gave Lin Yi a lot of inspiration. Lin Yi glanced at Tiger Right, noticing that the two followers beside him were doing nothing, while Tiger Right, on the other hand, was focused on Boss Bai's explanation. This discovery also proved that Boss Bai was extraordinary. To be continued. Cast recommendation votes, monthly votes, etc. Chapter 1957. Date, October 20th. The Hidden House. You could be said to be a medical family, and the fact that the children of the house, you could listen to Boss Bai's class so attentively, especially someone as arrogant as Yu Panhu. This made Lin Yi feel that Boss Bai was not a normal person. In a small town near Donghe, in a luxurious manner, two brothers were sitting in front of a computer in the study, replaying the video footage over and over again. These two brothers were the two Ferrari drivers that Lin Yi met on his way to Songjiang. Brother, is there still no news? It's taking so long to find out who the license plate belongs to. Uncle Hanzhou's information network isn't too good. The one who spoke was a younger brother in the Ferrari, Han Xiaoling, and the one driving the Ferrari was the older brother, Han Xiaopa. Uncle Hanzhou has always been in charge of our hidden house of Han's information network, but there's still no news. It's not that his network isn't good. It's that the owner of the car isn't a normal person. Han Xiaopa was one of the successors of the hidden house of Han, so he had a clearer view of things. He immediately noticed the problem. Ah, brother, then if the owner isn't a normal person, will he still help us participate in the race? Han Xiaoling asked. I don't know, but we need to see which power he belongs to first. If he isn't from a hidden house, then as long as we bring out enough benefits and sincerity, there shouldn't be a problem. Han Xiaopa said. Oh, Han Xiaoling was Han Xiaopa's biological brother, so he was very close to Han Xiaopa in the hidden house of Han. The hidden house of Han was a hidden house that kept a very low profile. The hidden house of Han started out 10 years ago, and the head of the House of Han was originally a lone practitioner, and his strength was only at the early phase of the mystic class. However, 15 years ago, the head of the House of Han found an ancient ruin and obtained a golden pill. After swallowing it, his strength soared from the early phase of the mystic class all the way to the early phase of the earth class. Along with the treasures from the ancient ruin, the old man of the House of Han, a lone practitioner, successfully became a member of the hidden house. However, the hidden house Han's foundation was still too shallow. Other than old man Han, who was an earth-class early phase master, the second generation of the family was at most mystic class, and the third generation was pitifully golden class. If it wasn't for the fact that they had obtained the treasures from the ancient ruins and that the Han family had come at a good time, they wouldn't have been able to survive. The Hidden House Arbitration Association had just been established, and this series of events had allowed the Han family to become a member of the Hidden House by chance. However, Old Man Han understood that his family's foundation was too shallow. If an old hidden family obtained the treasures from the ancient ruins, then not only would they not have to worry, they might even become an ancient family. Because even if they didn't have a heaven-class expert, they would still have a peak late-phase Earth-class expert overseeing them. According to the agreement between the ancient sects and ancient families, heaven-class experts couldn't casually make a move. Therefore, Earth-class late-phase peak could basically sit back and relax. But the Han family was different. A man's wealth was his own ruin. The Han family had been developing in a low profile these past few years. The Ice Palace trials, the Hidden House Arbitration Association's Elder Council, those were things they wouldn't participate in. The only thing they wanted to do was rest and slowly increase the family strength. Once the family had a peak late-phase Earth-class expert, or even a Heaven-class expert, that would be the day the Han family would soar. Of course, with the restrictions of the Hidden House Arbitration Association, the other houses hadn't done anything to the Han family. But recently, Old Man Han had heard some bad news. The Grand Elder of the Hidden House Arbitration Association had disappeared. The other hidden houses had started to stir as well. Although they didn't have any intentions of making a move against the Hidden House Han, they had made some strange suggestions and requests. That was to hold a few competitions during the Hidden House Summit. The events of the competition were also different. There were martial arts competitions, art competitions, endurance competitions, strength competitions, and even racing competitions. In every round of the competition, every hidden house would take out a treasure as a wager. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that this competition was aimed at the weak house of Han. This was because the hidden house of Han was too weak. They were so weak that they couldn't even win a single battle. However, these battles covered a wide range of areas and seemed to be fair. So even if the hidden house of Han knew that the hidden houses couldn't sit still anymore and wanted to covet the hidden house of Han's treasures, they couldn't refuse. Refusing to participate in the Hidden House Summit was the same as giving up their right to be a hidden house. Without the protection of the Hidden House title, even the Hidden House Arbitration Association wouldn't care about the life and death of the hidden house. At that time, the hidden houses would definitely make a move on the Hidden House Han, but this was a dead end. They knew that there would be losses, and they would definitely have to take out some treasures. But under these circumstances, the Hidden House Han could only pinch their noses and accept it. Who asked them to be weak? When he saw Lin Yi's driving skills by chance, Han Xiaopa had the mentality of trying to save a dead horse. If they could win one race, even if it was just one, it would be a victory for the House Han. It was better than losing all the competitions. Even if the House Han had to pay a certain price, it didn't matter. After all, this was related to the Hidden House Han's reputation. As he spoke, Han Xiaopa's phone rang. Seeing the familiar name, Han Xiaopa relaxed a little. Finally, there was news. Ninth Uncle. Han Xiaopa answered the phone respectfully. Ninth Uncle Han wasn't a direct relative of the Han family, but he was one of his grandfather's followers. The ancient ruins were discovered by him and his grandfather. However, Ninth Uncle Han was about the same age as Han Xiaopa's father, so he was considered an uncle. Master Pa, we've investigated the ownership of the car, but we can't get the owner's information, Ninth Uncle Han said. What? No information on the owner? Han Xiaopa was slightly taken aback. The car belongs to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Our information channels aren't strong enough to find a secret of this level. If we ask for help, we might not be able to find someone who knows the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Even if they do, we might not be able to find them, Ninth Uncle Han said. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau. No wonder. I heard that there are many capable people there. Han Xiaopa suddenly understood. Although the practitioners of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau weren't as powerful as the hidden houses, they were far superior in other aspects. This was because they had many all-round talents. Not to mention his superb driving skills, it was easy for him to do stunts with an airplane. RG. It seemed that the disciple who had called for the meeting was probably someone from Han Xiaochun's side and had deliberately made Han Xiaopa look bad. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I'm late. Han Xiaopa looked at the people in the conference room and apologized. All right, sit down. Grandfather Han wasn't an idiot. He knew that Han Xiaopa wouldn't be late on purpose. He knew what was going on, but he couldn't be bothered to point it out. Yes, Grandpa. Han Xiaopa nodded and sat on his seat. Han Xiaochun's eyes flashed with disappointment. Han Xiaopa's lateness didn't incur his grandpa's wrath. This made Han Xiaochun's efforts a little wasted. Xiaopa, I heard from your ninth Uncle Han that you found a racer with superb driving skills. You want him to represent the Hidden Han family in the upcoming Hidden Family Summit. Is that true? Grandfather Han waited for Han Xiaopa to sit down and then asked. Yes, Grandpa. Han Xiaopa nodded and told him about the Jeep Cherokee he saw on the highway. He then added, Grandpa, I think that if it's possible, we should invite this person to represent us in the race no matter what. Otherwise, I'm afraid our Hidden Han family won't be able to win in the end. This concerns our Hidden Han family's reputation. Not bad. Old Man Han nodded in praise. Little Pa didn't go out for nothing this time, always thinking about the family's interests. That's what everyone in the Hidden Han family should learn. Our Hidden Han family originally didn't have any hope in this Hidden Family Summit. But if Little Pa can invite this person, then we'll be able to save some face for our Han family. We won't lose so miserably. Old Nine, have you investigated this person's background? Tell us, and we'll see how we can invite him. Yes. Ninth Uncle Han nodded and told everyone the results of his investigation. Xiaopa, what do you think? You were the one who suggested this idea. What do you think we should pay to invite this person to race for us? Grandfather Han looked at Han Xiaopa and asked, Grandpa, since this person is from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, then I don't think he'll be interested in ordinary benefits. I think that as long as we can invite this person, even if we have to give him all the treasures after winning, it'll be worth it. Han Xiaopa said, Big brother, are you stupid? Treasures after winning? That's not just our Han family's treasures. Every participating family will put up a treasure as a bet. When the time comes, he'll get the treasures of all the families. Don't you think that's a bit too generous? Han Xiaochun didn't wait for Han Xiaopa to finish and retorted coldly. Or are you colluding with outsiders to embezzle the Han family's benefits? I embezzle the Han family's benefits? Han Xiaopa looked at Han Xiaochun with a smile that wasn't a smile. You know, if we don't invite him, we'll definitely lose the race. With our family's resources, it's not even enough for him to look at. He's just a student. Even if he's related to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, we, the Hidden Han family, are asking him for help because we think highly of him. When the time comes, we'll just give him any of our family's treasures. Won't he obediently help? Han Xiaochun snorted coldly and said, Although our Hidden Han family isn't one of the top families among the hidden families, if we say something, even the Supernatural Investigation Bureau will have to give us face. Xiaochun is right about this. If we give him all the treasures, then our Han family will really be at a loss. Giving him one treasure is already very impressive. Grandfather Han nodded, agreeing with Han Xiaochun. Grandpa, if he doesn't show his sincerity, I can't promise to invite him. Han Xiaopa sighed. He didn't know why, but Han Xiaopa just felt that the person driving the Jeep Cherokee wasn't someone who was easy to talk to. He wasn't someone who could be invited easily. Big brother, if you think your ability is limited, then leave this to me. I'll invite him, and I guarantee it'll be done. Han Xiaochun patted his chest and promised. Han Xiaochun thought of Lin Yi's lightning-fast killing methods, and his heart went cold. In the eyes of these Hidden House disciples, Lin Yi was no different from a demon king. He was terrifying to the extreme. He was on talk terms with Lin Yi, but if he didn't succeed and got killed right away, then he'd die for nothing. No one from the Hidden House would dare to stand up for him. The Hidden House Yu, House Zhao, and House Yu all suffered in silence, let alone the Hidden House Han. Brother, you already know this person's information. When are you going to go look for him? Han Xiaopa was amused as well. Where was that arrogance from before? He was dumbfounded when he heard the name. Big brother, my abilities are limited. You should go. After all, you were the one who found this person, so it's more reasonable for you to go. Han Xiaochun didn't dare to go anymore. Unless he didn't want to live anymore, daring to talk terms with a violent maniac like Lin Yi. Wasn't that looking for death? Old Han's face turned red and white as well. This was a slap in the face. However, he didn't have the slightest intention of getting angry. If this Lin Yi was the same Lin Yi, sending Han Xiaochun to look for him without knowing was the same as asking the Hidden House Han to die. There was a Hidden House Arbitration Association to mediate between the hidden houses, but when it came to the common world, Lin Yi didn't have much to say. If Lin Yi wanted to destroy the Hidden House Han, then it wouldn't be a difficult task. When that time comes, thinking of this, old Han broke out in a cold sweat and said to Han Xiaopa, "Xiaopa still has foresight. We didn't act impulsively, or else if we really did, as Xiaochun said, the consequences would be unthinkable. Xiaochun is still not mature enough." Han Xiaochun was very displeased. "You clearly agreed with my suggestion just now, and even told me to go with the carrot and the stick, but now you're saying that I'm not mature enough." This made him very depressed, but he didn't dare to refute, because if he did, wouldn't he make his grandfather lose face? So he could only endure it helplessly. "Yes, you're right, grandfather," Han Xiaochun said gloomily. "Xiaopa, you should go talk to Lin Yi about this. No matter what, even if he wants more, we have to rope him in. As long as he can become a friend of our Hidden House Han, the other hidden houses will have to think about their own strength if they want to touch us." Old Han was looking further ahead. Although he was snobbish, he was extremely cunning. Otherwise, the Hidden House Han would still be in decline for so many years. Old Han still had some tricks up his sleeve. If it wasn't for the fact that he had told the children of the family to keep a low profile and not go out to cause trouble or earn money, those hidden families would have found an excuse to deal with the Hidden House of Han. But Old Man Han would rather sit back and enjoy his wealth than be caught red-handed. That was where he was smart. So he saw hope in Lin Yi. Although Lin Yi was a star of misfortune and had a grudge with many hidden houses, being close to Lin Yi would mean offending House Yu, House Zhao, and House Yu. But that wasn't the case. Even without the relationship with Lin Yi, these houses would still harbor evil intentions towards the Hidden House Han. If they wanted to deal with the Hidden House Han, then they might as well build a good relationship with Lin Yi blocking them. Perhaps House Han would have more time to breathe. What old Han could see clearly, the other members of House Han could see clearly as well. They all nodded. Old Han was right. If they could get Lin Yi's support, at least in the short term, House Han wouldn't be in any danger. Plus, during the Hidden House Summit, Lin Yi might even be able to win other competitions, and that would give House Han even more face. "I haven't had lunch yet," Lin Yi said. "Senior Lin, this humble one has already booked a table at the Shueshang Business Hotel nearby. I hope Senior Lin can do me the honor." Han Xiaopa heard Lin Yi's agreement and immediately invited him with a smile. "Oh, then let's go." Lin Yi nodded. Under the biology building, a Ferrari sports car was parked. Han Xiaopa respectfully invited Lin Yi into the car and drove to the Shueshang Business Hotel. The Shueshang Business Hotel was actually the Shueshang Hotel. It was just called by a different name. Arriving here, Lin Yi thought of Sun Jingyi, so he said to Han Xiaopa, "Wait, I'll call a friend of you with us." "All right, no problem." Han Xiaopa naturally wouldn't have the slightest doubt. The more casual Lin Yi behaved, the more likely it was to succeed. Lin Yi called Sun Jingyi. It just so happened that Sun Jingyi was also going to eat, so Lin Yi let Sun Jingyi go directly to the private room that Han Xiaopa had booked. "Lin Yi, why did you think of eating here at noon?" Sun Jingyi was a little surprised by Lin Yi's sudden visit, but when she saw that there was an outsider beside Lin Yi, she was a little puzzled. This must be Senior Lin's girlfriend." "Hello, Senior. My name is Han Xiaopa. I'm from the Hidden Han family," Han Xiaopa said respectfully to Sun Jingyi. "Ah, Hidden Han family?" Lin Yi didn't know about the Hidden Han family, but as a member of an aristocratic family, Sun Jingyi was very clear about it. She also knew about the history of the Han family's rise to power. Even if the Hidden Han family was a relatively weak existence among the hidden aristocratic families, it was still a behemoth compared to the Sun family. But what Sun Jingyi didn't expect was that the Hidden Han family's disciple would call her senior. Could this be considered riding on Lin Yi's coattails? "Yes, I am the eldest son and eldest grandson of the Hidden Han family. I represent the Hidden Han family, and I have some matters that I need Senior Lin's help with." Han Xiaopa explained respectfully. All right, serve the dishes first. I'm hungry. Let's talk while we eat. Lin Yi waved his hand impatiently and interrupted Han Xiaopa. Yes, Senior Lin. I'll ask the waiter to serve the dishes now. Han Xiaopa said as he turned around and left the private room, instructing the waiter to serve the dishes. At this time, Sun Jingyi was very surprised. She lowered her voice and said to Lin Yi, why did he call you senior? Why did he need your help? Who knows? Let's hear it later. Lin Yi said nonchalantly. Soon, Han Xiaopa returned and sat respectfully at the seat below. He poured tea for Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi. All right, before the dishes are served, tell me what you need, Lin Yi said. It's like this, Senior Lin. Han Xiaopa quickly told Lin Yi about the Hidden House Summit, the competition, and how he saw Lin Yi's flying car on the highway. Hidden House Summit? This was Lin Yi's first time hearing about this. But thinking about it, if the aristocratic families had their own house summit, then it wasn't surprising that the hidden families had their own hidden house summit. From the sound of it, this was a conference to test the hidden family's abilities. In other words, if I win the car race for you, all the prizes will belong to me. Plus, I can choose any treasure from your hidden Han family's treasure vault. Don't you think you're losing out? Yes. Han Xiaopa nodded. Of course, I hope this isn't just a trade, but the beginning of a friendship. I sincerely hope that our hidden Han family can become Senior Lin's friend. So, it doesn't matter if we're losing out or not. If Han Xiaopa wanted to negotiate, he could have said that he would give the prizes to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi didn't agree, he could have increased the stakes. But Han Xiaopa wanted to gain Lin Yi's friendship. After he found out that the person driving the Jeep was Lin Yi, he had this idea. Pure topaz, blue crystal, chromatic steel. What does your hidden Han family have? Lin Yi asked. I burned 3 of them to death last time. Maybe they have a phobia now. Lin Yi shrugged. He was thinking about other things in his mind. His current strength was only at the early phase of Earth class, and he needed to raise it to the next level as soon as possible. Although the Frenzy Fist was powerful, Lin Yi had only trained the first 3 styles. At most, he could fight a mid-phase Earth class master to a draw. If he met someone stronger, then he wouldn't be able to do it. So Lin Yi was eager to raise his strength to the next level. It would be best if he could train the 4th to 6th style of the Frenzy Fist. After seeing the power of the Frenzy Fist, Lin Yi was confident that he could fight a late-phase Earth-class master after training the 4th to 6th style. Of course, this was just a confidence. Before Lin Yi started training, everything was just a guess. He would only know after training. So that's how it is. Sun Jingyi nodded. All right, I did a comparison last night. That map seems to be the Wulong Mountains. But it was too late last night, so I didn't find the detailed map. I just woke up not long ago. I'm going to go online and look for a more detailed map later. Oh, you found already? Lin Yi was a little surprised. Although Sun Jingyi made it sound easy, she must have been busy last night. It was just that Lin Yi was surprised that Sun Jingyi found the location on the map so quickly. Maybe it's my parents' secret. Of course I'm anxious. Sun Jingyi smiled embarrassedly. Understand. Let me know when you want to leave. I'll go with you. Lin Yi said. Thank you. Sun Jingyi said gratefully. But you may have to wait. At least, you have to wait until the Hidden Han family's matter is over. Lin Yi thought about it and said, It doesn't matter. You can go whenever you want. Moreover, it's not necessarily the Wulong Mountains. I just think the terrain is similar. Sun Jingyi said, Maybe I need to confirm it for a while. After lunch, Sun Jingyi returned to her room, and Lin Yi was ready to go back to school. After leaving the hotel, Lin Yi was about to stop a taxi, but he saw a middle-aged man walking quickly toward Lin Yi. Senior Lin, young master asked me to wait here and send you back to school. The middle-aged man explained before Lin Yi could ask. Then let's go. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't expect Han Xiaopa to be so considerate. After he left, he still sent someone to pick him up to school. The middle-aged man drove an Audi A8. After respectfully asking Lin Yi to get in the car, he didn't say much. He directly sent Lin Yi back to school and left. Lin Yi returned to the dormitory, but he saw Bai Wei-Tuo still sitting at the desk with a sad face. "Old Bai, what's wrong with you?" Linny looked at Bai Wei-Tuo strangely. Wasn't the matter solved? Why didn't this guy leave the class to rehearse? Instead, he was sighing in the dormitory. "Big brother Lin, you're back?" Bai Wei-Tuo saw Lin Yi, and his face suddenly showed some joy. "Big brother Lin, I told the class about the big star Su Shirhan." Everyone was very excited after hearing it, but Right Coiling Tiger jumped out to cause trouble. He said that Su Shirhan had never held a concert in Donghai before, and that it was unheard of for her to participate in this kind of small event. So he said that I wanted to boost the class's morale, and that's why I made this up to compete with Zhang Duopan. And then Linny frowned, thinking that this coiling tiger on the right didn't know how to stop, always going against them. Chapter 1962. Book C Pavilion. Chapter 1974. She really was a superstar. After that, the students in the class got discouraged. They felt that no matter how much they practiced, they wouldn't be able to fight against that coffee girl Chung Yi that Zhang Duopan invited. So they were too lazy to practice and came back with the attitude of just making up the numbers. Bai Wei-Tuo said bitterly. Lin Yi was speechless, so they didn't believe him. But it wasn't strange that they doubted him. If Lin Yi didn't call Su Shirhan in front of Bai Wei-Tuo wouldn't believe that he could invite Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan used to have headaches, so she rarely held concerts, let alone private events. Therefore, a lot of people probably didn't believe it at first, but after Right Coiling Tiger said this, no one believed it anymore. This pawn who Right really needs to be beaten up. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi wasn't weak, he would have beaten pawn who Right up a long time ago. But after offending House Yu, House Zhao, and an unknown master from House Kong, Lin Yi didn't want to mess with the hidden House Yu, especially since they were a medical family. Their power couldn't be underestimated. It's not his fault. He just raised a question. We're the class monitor. We can't let our classmates doubt us, right? Bai Wei-Tuo smiled bitterly. Even if Su Shirhan comes tomorrow, the party starts the day after tomorrow, and we only have half a day left to rehearse. It's not enough. I'll make another call. Linny wanted to rush Su Shirhan to see if she could come today. Bai Wei-Tuo heard Lin Yi's words and was extremely grateful. He didn't think that Lin Yi would help him this much. Lin Yi called Su Shirhan again, but this time it was Su Shirhan who picked up. Lin Yi, why are you calling me again? It's like this. Lin Yi told Su Shirhan about Bai Wei-Tuo's troubles and said, Can you come earlier? It's best if you come tonight. I'm afraid I can't. Today's schedule is already full. Even tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, I had to squeeze out time for you. Do you think I'm free every day? Su Shirhan was annoyed by Lin Yi's words. Did this guy think that she was just waiting for him to summon her every day? What's the saying? Time is like pretend I didn't say anything. Lin Yi wanted to make a joke, but then he remembered that he wasn't that close with Su Shirhan, so it was best not to make this kind of joke. Pervert. Su Shirhan heard Lin Yi's words and snorted. You misunderstood. What I meant was that time is like a sponge that is wet with water. If you squeeze it, water will always come out. Lin Yi said, How do you know I misunderstood? If you didn't get it wrong, how would you know I got it wrong? Su Shirhan retorted. Lin Yi realized that Su Shirhan was indeed a superstar. Her reflexes were extraordinarily fast. No wonder she could remain so calm in the face of so many media interviews. Okay, can you come? Lin Yi asked. Chapter 1963. Su Shirhan, hello. I'm your loyal fan. I'm Jia Changqing. The boys couldn't wait to greet Su Shirhan. Hello everyone, I'm Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan saw that everyone was here, so she smiled and said, I'm in the recording studio right now. Today I'm mixing for my new album, so I took a break from my busy schedule to meet everyone. This isn't a pre-recorded interview, right? Upon who you couldn't understand why Bai Wei-Tuo was able to invite Su Shirhan. Back then, he invited Su Shirhan with the identity of the Yu family. Not only did he fail, but he also got rejected. This made Yu Panhu very upset. Lin Yi didn't let Bai Weidawa say that he was the one who invited Su Shirhan, so Bai Weidawa could only vaguely say that he was the one who invited Su Shirhan. This was also the reason why no one believed him. He was just a freshman. How could he know a superstar like Su Shirhan? Yeah, Bai Weidawa. Is this a pre-recorded interview? Someone heard Coiling Tiger Yu's question and started to suspect. Young Master Coiling Tiger Yu, hello, we meet again. Su Shirhan heard Coiling Tiger Yu's question and smiled faintly. Coiling Tiger Yu didn't expect Su Shirhan to know him and even talk to him. He felt awkward. Haha, I was just joking. In front of the class, Coiling Tiger Yu naturally didn't dare to say that he wanted to sleep with Su Shirhan. He laughed and changed the topic. But now, no one doubted that it was a video anymore, because the video didn't have any interaction, and it was impossible to talk to Coiling Tiger Yu. Su Shirhan, I like you so much. Su Shirhan, can I have your autograph? Su Shirhan, what are the songs in your new album? Can you tell us a bit? Su Shirhan, will you really come tomorrow? Will you bring us to the freshman party? When everyone knew that the Su Shirhan in front of them was really Su Shirhan, they couldn't be more excited. One question after another, Su Shirhan couldn't answer. Can everyone calm down for a moment? I understand everyone's feelings, but my time here is limited. It wasn't easy for me to ask my manager for a little leave just now to meet with everyone. So please listen to me, okay? Su Shirhan's voice came again, making the noisy dorm quiet again. Everyone shut their mouths when they heard that Su Shirhan was taking time out of her busy schedule to meet them. As you all know, I was asked by my friend to attend the freshman party with you. However, due to my schedule, I won't be able to arrive in East Ocean City until tomorrow afternoon at the earliest. Therefore, our time is very limited, Su Shirhan said. And if we want to get first place in the freshman party, just my popularity alone isn't enough. We need everyone's cooperation. Otherwise, even if I go on stage, we won't be able to get a high score if we don't work well together, right? Everyone nodded in agreement after hearing Su Shirhan's words. So I'm going to tell everyone the song I'm going to sing. Everyone practice the harmony part first. Why go tomorrow? I just need to practice a few more times. Do you guys have the confidence to get first place with me? Su Shirhan asked. Yes. Most of the guys were Su Shirhan's fans. Even if they weren't, how could they reject such a beautiful girl's invitation? Thus, as soon as Su Shirhan's voice fell, everyone expressed their stance in unison. Okay, since you're confident, then you have to work hard. If we can't get first place, it'll be very embarrassing for me, Su Shirhan said with a smile. Don't worry, we'll definitely work hard. A guy took the lead. It was the guy called Jia Chongqing. Us too. The rest of the guys saw that someone took the lead, so they naturally didn't want to be outdone. Okay, the song I prepared for everyone is called Story of Youth. It's also one of my most famous songs. There's a lot of harmony and narration, and the whole song is like a drama. I believe that the students who have seen the music video of this song know that it was filmed in a university. What we need to do is to restore the music video of this song to the stage. Su Shirhan said, Story of Youth was just like what Su Shirhan said. The music video was filmed in a university. It was also a drama, singing about the beautiful university life. There was love, friendship, and nervousness before exams. The theme of the song was the epitome of university life. It would be hard not to win an award if it was performed at the freshman party. With Su Shirhan as the original singer and the cooperation of the students, it would definitely cause an unprecedented sensation. What everyone needs to do next is to familiarize yourself with this song, then find a few stunt doubles for the supporting roles in the music video. As for the rest, we can start rehearsing tomorrow. Su Shirhan said, No problem. Don't worry, Su Shirhan. I'm a class monitor by Weidawa. I'll definitely complete the task. Bai Weidawa was very excited. Su Shirhan was willing to help everyone, although he knew that it was because of Lin Yi, the person she was helping was him. How could he not be excited? Moreover, Himeyue's idol was Su Shirhan. Zhang Duopan invited Su Shirhan's junior sister to come. It was also to please Himeyue. After all, other than Su Shirhan, Himeyue also liked Chang Yi. However, with Su Shirhan here, He may would naturally like Su Shirhan more. Okay, by Wei Tuo. Everyone's rehearsal. I'll leave it to you. Su Shirhan said. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to start working here. Everyone do your best. Okay, we'll do our best. By Wei Tuo and the students present said in unison. Coiling Tiger Right and the other two were very gloomy. They saw that Bai Wei Tuo was one of Lin Yi's people, so they wanted to create some trouble for him. But now, it seemed like trouble was no longer trouble. So, Coiling Tiger Right and the other two left Lin Yi's dorm. After the video ended, all the medical students were excited and requested to start rehearsing right away. Bai Wei Tuo excitedly downloaded Su Shirhan's Story of Youth music video and played it for everyone to see. Then, he started to pick the supporting characters and cameos from the class. Lin Dage, which role are you going to play? Bai Wei Tuo naturally let Lin Yi choose first. After all, Su Shirhan was invited by Lin Yi. It was reasonable to let him choose first. No one would object. Lin Yi Gij, you, and Wang Xinyan are a couple. Why are you living with Meng Yao and Yu Shu? Han Jingjing didn't stop talking after getting in the car. First, Wang Xinyan and I are not a couple. Second, it's called sharing, not living together, Lin Yi explained. Oh, then Lin Yi Gij you're single? Han Jingjing said happily. That's great. No, I have a girlfriend, Lin Yi said. Then why didn't I see her? Where is she? Han Jingjing asked. That has nothing to do with you, Lin Yi said. Then you and Xinyan sit together every day, and you live with Meng Yao and Yu Shu. Doesn't your girlfriend get jealous? Han Jingjing asked again. Not jealous? Why do you have so many questions? Lin Yi frowned. Many? Didn't teachers say that if you don't understand something, don't be ashamed to ask? Han Jingjing said innocently. Then ask someone else. Lin Yi said. Why is this happening? Isn't my innate chi the universal innate chi? Why doesn't it work on Grandma's son? Faubert and Grandma's son saw that Lin Yi was closing his eyes and thinking, so they didn't dare disturb him. They just sat quietly and waited. When Jiao Lao heard Lin Yi's question, he didn't have too many doubts. He just thought for a moment and said, if my deduction is correct, Grandma's son's mental cultivation method should be to absorb the heaven and earth spiritual chi and transform it into a special form of energy from the Sun family's mental cultivation method. This form of energy can also be transformed into innate chi that Faubert can use through Grandma's son's mental cultivation method, and then transferred to Faubert. But because of the special nature of her mental cultivation method, she can only absorb the heaven and earth spiritual chi and can't directly absorb your transformed innate chi. Oh, but why can other people directly transfer their transformed innate chi to her? If that's the case, then can I directly transform it into Grandma's son's unique energy form? Lin Yi asked. I'm afraid that won't work either. The support type of mental cultivation method is not the same as the normal type of mental cultivation method. Her mental cultivation method should only be able to absorb the heaven and earth spiritual chi, and it must be the most primitive heaven and earth spiritual chi that hasn't been transformed in any way. In other words, the pure energy in the jade pendant. As long as it has been transformed, it can't be absorbed anymore. Jiao Lao said, just like you can transfer innate chi to other people, but other people can't transfer innate chi to you, me? I can, right? General Wei Wu and Tianlei Pig's innate chi is exactly the same as the innate chi in my body. I can use it. Lin Yi said, I'm talking about other people. Did I talk about spirit beasts? Pay attention to people. Jiao Yazi said speechlessly. Is that so? Lin Yi suddenly felt a little awkward. So, other than letting Grandma's son absorb the heaven and earth spiritual chi or pure energy, other than that, there's no other way to increase her strength. That should be it, of course. You can let me study Sun family's mental cultivation method, and I'll think about other ways. Jiao Lao said, looks like it won't work for now. Lin Yi nodded. Jiao Lao's deduction was similar to Lin Yi's, But Lin Yi's analysis wasn't as thorough as Jiao Lao's. Jiao Lao explained the reason from the theory, but Lin Yi only roughly guessed the result. Lin Yi opened his eyes and said to Faubert, "If my deduction isn't wrong, Grandma Sun's mental cultivation method should be to absorb the heaven and earth spiritual qi and transform it into a special form of energy from Sun family's mental cultivation method and store it in her body." Then, Lin Yi explained Jiao Lao's words to Grandma Sun and Faubert. This kind of learning and applying on the spot made Jiao Yazi look down on Jiao Yazi, but Jiao Yazi didn't say much. He almost never interfered with Lin Yi's daily life, and he was too lazy to interfere. He only guided Lin Yi's path of cultivation. So that's how it is. Looks like it won't work. Faubert listened to Lin Yi's explanation and suddenly felt very disappointed. He couldn't help but sigh and said, "In this case, we can only rely on Grandma Sun's own efforts. Li Fu, you don't have to worry too much about it. It's already a good thing to be able to get the Sun family's mental cultivation method and practice it again. It's only a matter of time before you regain your memory. There's no need to rush." Grandma Sun smiled and said, "There's still a long way to go." "Yes, there's still a long way to go." Faubert nodded and said, "I was too anxious. In fact, you have already accepted me again. Think about it carefully. It's not too important whether you regain your memory or not." Linny saw that Faubert and Grandma Sun were very open about it, and he was relieved. I, Lin Yi pointed at Han Jingjing, but in the end, he didn't say anything. Was this girl from planet Namek? Why did she think differently from normal people? So, Lin Yi guessed that it would be useless to tell her, so he might as well not say it. Turning around and entering the villa, Lin Yi took out the portfolio given by the agent. According to the agent, the property certificate would be issued in about half a month, and he could go to the administrative hall to get it. Now that the military training was over, it had been half a month, but Lin Yi wasn't in a hurry. He thought that he would go get it during the weekend, but he didn't expect that Han Jingjing would ruin his plans. After getting in the car, Lin Yi set up the navigation system in the administrative hall and drove out of the Shueshang district with Han Jingjing. "You left your car at school, and you don't need to care about it?" Lin Yi asked. "Yes, so you can accompany me to school at night and get the car back. Also, you can pick up my brother from school," Han Jingjing said. Lin Yi really wanted to slap himself. How could his mouth be so fast? It was just a random topic, but he didn't think that it would cause him trouble. "Can't you just let your brother drive it back?" Lin Yi suggested. "My brother doesn't know how to drive," Han Jingjing said. "Then why are you taking my car back? Do you have nothing better to do?" Lin Yi almost broke down if it wasn't for the strict training he had gone through. His mental endurance wasn't something a normal person could compare to. "Why do you say that? Aren't you going to pick up Yao Yao and Shu tonight?" Han Jingjing asked. "That's good. They both know how to drive. I'll let them drive your brother's car back." Lin Yi thought about it and agreed. He still had to pick up Meng Yao and Yu Shu. "Okay." Han Jingjing agreed readily. Lin Yi finally breathed out in relief. He was about to say something when Han Jingjing continued. "But my brother doesn't have the car keys. We have to give him the car keys. Pretend I didn't say anything. Let's go to school together." With that, Lin Yi shut his mouth and didn't say another word to Han Jingjing. Lin Yi didn't want to die from anger. There weren't many people in the office at this time. Lin Yi parked the car downstairs and got the property certificate with Han Jingjing. It didn't waste much time. Lin Yi was about to go back to the villa when Han Jingjing said, "Is there an antique market nearby? Lin Yi bro, can you bring me around?" "What are you going to the antique market for?" Lin Yi asked curiously. "I want to buy a cauldron," Han Jingjing said. "Cauldron? Why do you want to buy that?" Lin Yi frowned, but his heart was slightly shocked. A cauldron was something used by an alchemist. Although this thing was also used by Taoists in ancient times for alchemy, so this kind of thing would sometimes appear in the antique market. But Han Jingjing was a student. Why would she buy a cauldron? To study alchemy. Han Jingjing didn't hide it and told Lin Yi the truth. Alchemy? Lin Yi was shocked. Who was this Han Jingjing? She actually knew about alchemy? Could she be a disciple of some hidden family or ancient sect? Yeah, you don't know about alchemy? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi with an even more strange expression. You came to study medicine, but you haven't heard about alchemy? Then do you know what an alchemist is? Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's surprised look and smiled bitterly in his heart. Was the profession of alchemist so common that ordinary people knew about it? You're talking about the legendary refiners in the world of practicing. Lin Yi asked without batting an eyelid. Ah, so Lenny Bro knows about it too. I knew it. Those who come to Bossby to study medicine are more or less the children of their families who are in the pharmaceutical industry. Han Jingjing nodded and said, I want to be an alchemist, so I applied for medicine. Then do you know how to become an alchemist? Lin Yi continued to ask. Big brother Lin Yi, you will not support me, right? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi pitifully and asked, We have pinky promise. Lin Yi looked at the time and found that there was still a lot of time before school ended. So he nodded and said, Okay, then let's just walk around. The antique market in Donghai City was located near the Dongtian Gate. Lin Yi had never been here before. He could only rely on the direction of the GPS to come to one of the largest antique market in Donghai City and even the entire province. Because Donghai was a provincial capital, the antique market in Donghai City was much larger than other cities. Lin Yi parked the car in the parking lot of the antique market. The parking fee was 20 yuan, which made Lin Yi feel a little cheated. This antique market was really something for the rich to play. Even a parking fee was more expensive than other places. Fortunately, Lin Yi didn't care about this little money. After parking the car, he walked into the antique market with Han Jingjing. The antique market was very big. There were all kinds of things for sale. There were all kinds of things, real and fake. It was difficult to buy the real thing if one wasn't an expert. However, Lin Yi wasn't interested in buying antiques. There were so many treasures in the ancient tomb, but Lin Yi didn't take any of them away, let alone spend money to buy these things. What Han Jingjing wanted to buy was a medicine cauldron. This kind of thing wasn't common. Generally, it depended on luck. However, there were many imitations. It was just that the material of this kind of thing wasn't much different from the real thing. It was either cast iron or copper, which was enough for a junior alchemist. The two of them came with a purpose. Lin Yi had the idea of looking around casually, while Han Jingjing was specifically looking for a medicine cauldron. Therefore, the two of them were basically looking around. After walking through more than half of the market, Han Jingjing finally found a stall that specialized in selling medicine cauldrons. How much is this medicine cauldron? Han Jingjing directly picked up a cast iron medicine cauldron that looked similar and asked. This was used by the Ming Dynasty's celestial protector, Daoist Zhang. When the seller saw Han Jingjing's dress, he knew that she was a rich girl. She probably didn't know anything about antiques, so he directly started a bluff. Big brother Lin Yi, is this person stupid? I asked him how much is he selling it. Why did he say so many inexplicable words? Han Jingjing put down the medicine cauldron and said to Lin Yi, AI, little girl, how can you talk like that? Who are you calling stupid? When the stall owner heard Han Jingjing scolding him, he suddenly became a little unhappy. Big brother Lin Yi, look at this person. Not only is he stupid, but he also doesn't know his place. The things he sells are definitely not good. Let's go to someone else's shop and have a look. Han Jingjing turned around and was ready to leave. Wait, don't go. I'm not telling you the origin of the medicine cauldron. If you don't want to listen, we can talk about the price. When the stall owner saw that Han Jingjing was about to leave, he immediately became anxious and quickly stopped her. Big brother Lin Yi, let's go. Han Jingjing was determined to leave. Lin Yi was helpless. He had to turn around and follow. However, before the two of them could walk far, two burly men blocked their way. What do you want? Han Jingjing looked at the two big men in front of her vigilantly. You want to leave after breaking the medicine cauldron? It's not that easy. One of the big men said coldly. They were punks in this area. The merchants in this antique market all paid them protection fees. Naturally, they would help these people solve some problems. It was a mutually beneficial thing. Just now, The stall owner was scolded by Han Jingjing. He was already a little unhappy. Seeing that the business that was in his hands was gone, he naturally felt even more uncomfortable. So, he found two punks to teach Lin Yi and Han Jingjing a lesson. In the stall owner's view, both of them were dressed like students. Han Jingjing was also wearing famous brands. With one look, he could tell that they were rich people. It was naturally not difficult to squeeze some money from them. Ah, big brother Lenny, you can also see that this stall owner is stupid? See, I'm right. When Han Jingjing heard that Lin Yi agreed with her point of view, she immediately became very happy. Oomph. The stall owner snorted coldly, but he wasn't in the mood to care about this. His main purpose was to extort, not to quarrel. So he said directly, "This medicine cauldron is 50,000 yuan. Take out the money. It has been broken by you, so I can only sell it to you." Oh. Lin Yi picked up the medicine cauldron, and a mocking smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "This medicine cauldron is from the Ming dynasty? Only 50,000 yuan? That's really cheap. I say, boss, is there something wrong with your brain?" "You?" The stall owner quoted 50,000 yuan, which was already a sky-high price among imitations. The normal price of this thing was only a few hundred yuan. He wanted 50,000 yuan, which was already a lot. He didn't expect the other party to think that it was too little. The boss was wrong just now. It's 500,000 yuan. The macho man behind Lin Yi suddenly said, 500,000 yuan, not a single portion less. Hurry up and take out the money, or we'll be in trouble. When the boss heard the macho man's words, he was suddenly happy. Although he knew that even if he got the 500,000 yuan, he would probably have to share it with these two people. He estimated that he had to give half to these two people, but he could get 250,000 yuan, which was a lot more than the previous 50,000 yuan. So he immediately said, "Yes, it's 500,000 yuan. I was wrong just now. 500,000 yuan. Hee hee. You mean that if I give you 500,000 yuan, this medicine cauldron will belong to me?" Lin Yi weighed the medicine cauldron in his hand and asked, "Of course." The stall owner nodded and replied, "Oh, since it's mine, then I can deal with this medicine cauldron however I want." As Lin Yi said this, he squeezed his hand. The originally solid cast iron medicine cauldron couldn't even be compared to mud in Lin Yi's hand. It was directly squeezed in an iron ball by Lin Yi. Then, with a pung sound, he threw it on the table. "The quality of your medicine cauldron is so bad, and you said that we broke it? It could be crushed with just a squeeze, and you dare to ask for 500,000 yuan? When the stall owner saw that Lin Yi suddenly squeezed the medicine cauldron into a piece of iron, he was immediately dumbfounded and couldn't say a word. And the two macho men behind Lin Yi's face changed. Although these two men were gangsters from a nearby gang, there was also a master in the early phase of the golden class in the gang. Crushing the medicine cauldron, that master could also do it, but he was the most powerful existence in the gang. Even the gang leader respected him. But this young man in front of them actually had such strength. How could this not surprise these two gangsters? They weren't fools. The move that Lin Yi showed just now was obviously intentional. If they didn't know what was good for them, they would probably be beaten up. This kind of ruthless person that even the gang leader respected, how could they dare to offend? I have eyes but failed to recognize MT Tai. Both of you are from a noble family, right? I'm sorry if I offended you just now. One of the macho men quickly cupped his fist at Lin Yi, then pulled the other macho man and prepared to leave. And the other macho man gave the stall owner a look, lowered his voice, and said, "Old Wong, did you see wrongly? How could these two young masters and young mistresses deliberately destroy your broken medicine cauldron? It's just 50 yuan of trash. Even if they broke it, it's giving you face." After that, the two of them quickly left. Anyway, they had already hinted to the stall owner that if he didn't be careful and offended someone, then it wasn't something that these two punks could solve. In fact, at the moment when Lin Yi crushed the medicine cauldron, the stall owner knew that he had kicked an iron plate. Looking at the reaction of the two gangsters, the stall owner was even more afraid. It turned out that these two were ruthless people. If he had known this earlier, he wouldn't have extorted them. Haha, I was just joking just now. This medicine cauldron is only 50 yuan. It's not worth mentioning. In the blink of an eye, the 500,000 yuan medicine cauldron became 50 yuan, but the stall owner's expression was very natural, as if he didn't mention 500,000 yuan at all. I called the two of you here to apologize. These medicine cauldrons are all imitations. I said that they were from a Ming dynasty, but that was **T. In order to express my apology, the two of you can just take a few medicine cauldrons. If you like this work, I welcome you to come to Starting Point and vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. But even so, some people were moved by Wei Tuo's true feelings, and he Mei Wei was one of them. Mei Wei, this by Wei Tuo is really considerate. He knows that you're Su Shirhan's fan, and he actually invited Su Shirhan here. He even made a public post saying that it was for you. Xiaoling said excitedly. Sai, isn't it all because of Zhang Duopan? I wonder how much Bai Weidao paid to invite Su Shirhan this time. He Mei Wei wasn't stupid. She knew that Bai Weidao couldn't have invited Su Shirhan because he was moved by her or something. One had to know that Su Shirhan's appearance fee was sky high, and normal people couldn't even invite her. And this time, if it wasn't for Zhang Duopan inviting Su Shirhan's junior sister Cheng Yi to the freshman party, Bai Weidao wouldn't have invited Su Shirhan. Now, in order to suppress Zhang Duopan, he could only grit his teeth and invite a celebrity. He Mei Wei didn't know how much Bai Weidao spent, but Zhang Duopan used his family's connections to find Cheng Yi. He still spent 200,000 in appearance fee, and that was the price of favor. One had to know, Cheng Yi was just a celebrity. She couldn't be compared to Su Shirhan. If it wasn't for her junior sister, Su Shirhan's halo, probably not many people would know her. Moreover, just singing a song on stage would cost 200,000 yuan. This price was really not low. It could be seen that Zhang Duopan spent a lot of money. Bai Weidao invited Su Shirhan. From He Mei's point of view, at least 1 million would be spent, and even 1 million would be hard to invite. Although He Mei knew that Bai Weitao's roommate, Lin Yi, seemed to be very rich, she didn't want Bai Weitao to owe Lin Yi too much. Among the many pursuers, He Mei had high hopes for Bai Weitao. So, if she really chose Bai Weitao, naturally, she didn't want Bai Weitao to owe too much, because He Mei wasn't a person who liked to owe others. Mei Wei, you don't seem very happy? If someone performed for me, I'd be so happy, but that Zhao Shengji guy, other than being fat and inviting me to dinner, he doesn't know anything. Chai Xiaoling said enviously. Man, I hope it's like you. Do you think it's a good thing to have a guy fighting for you? He Mei shook her head. As the two were talking, Wang Xinyan pushed the door open and entered the room. Chai Xiaoling saw Wang Xinyan and immediately said excitedly, Xinyan, how is it? Don't tell me your class really invited Su Shirhan? Originally, Chai Xiaoling could have called Zhao Xingji, but she and Zhao Xingji hadn't confirmed their relationship yet, so she didn't want to be so proactive. Coincidentally, Wang Xinyan came back, so she asked Wang Xinyan, you guys know too? Wang Xinyan also just got the news. She received Bai Weidao's call and went to Lin Yi's room, but Lin Yi wasn't there yet. So, Wang Xinyan followed Lin Yi's arrangement and learned how to perform a small role. Now that she just came back, she heard the discussion of her roommates. These people sure got the news fast. Of course, Wang Xinyan still didn't know that Bai Weituo couldn't wait to declare war. The school's BBS is spreading. It seems like it's true, Chai Xiaoling said excitedly. Last time Su Shirhan held a concert in Songshan, I really regret not going. It was about to be the college entrance exam, otherwise I would have definitely gone. This time, Su Shirhan can attend the freshman party. It's such a good opportunity. I finally got to see Su Shirhan in person. Yeah, I regretted not going, but it's about to be the college entrance exam. Who can take a leave? He Mei said regretfully. This time, it's hard for Bai Wei. All right, Xinyan, you're close with Lin Yi. This time, Su Shirhan came to the freshman party. Did he help her? How much did he actually spend? If you like this work, you're welcome to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Target equals underscore blank. Chapter 1970. He knows Su Shirhan. Even if he knows her, he can't just come like that. Can he? Himewa said, shocked. How good is he to be able to invite her without spending money? I don't know about that because I didn't ask. Xinyan shook her head. But since he's here, there's no need to feel pressured. Lin, he won't try to impress himself. Xinyan knew Lin Yi very well. She knew that Lin Yi wasn't someone who would let himself get the short end of the stick when they met on the train. People cheated him, but he took all their money. So this Su Shirhan thing shouldn't be too difficult. But what Xinyan didn't know was that Lin Yi treated his friends very well. Even if it was difficult, Lin Yi would still try to help. But Lin Yi wouldn't do something like that. That's good. Himewa nodded. While the school was boiling with excitement, Zhang Duopan's face was as dark as a pig's liver as he sat in the rehearsal room, smoking. Motherfucker, Bai Weidahua actually invited Su Shirhan? If we invite Cheng Yi, even if she can get a place, she won't be a match for Bai Weidahua. Zhang Duopan cursed. This time, he was 100% sure that he would win. With Cheng Yi on the stage, at least the first place of the singing competition would be his. Most of the student council members in charge of voting would vote for them. After all, they had to give face to celebrities. But now, the first place was probably Su Shirhan, and the second place was Cheng Yi. Although second place was already a great result, in Zhang Duopan's eyes, it was as ugly as it could be. This was simply a slap in the face. Brother Zhang, it can't be that they're just creating hype, right? Fan Ganha also frowned as he browsed the school on his phone. The post on the S forum hesitantly said, "Then they will use this incident to destroy our morale and make us give up on our own accord." I don't think so. As long as Bai Weidahua isn't crazy, he wouldn't use such a despicable method. Otherwise, even if he succeeded, our morale would be affected and we would have to give up our performance. Himewa would look down on him. Zhang Duopan shook his head and said, "This matter is most likely true. But how did they invite them? We spent 200,000 to invite Cheng Yi, and that's because your dad's company asked her to endorse a product before, so they gave her a discount. How come Su Shirhan's appearance isn't more than $1 million?" Fan Ganha asked suspiciously. "I don't know, but that Lin Yi seems to be a rich man. Maybe he paid for it," Zhang Duopan said. "That bastard. I'll beat him to death sooner or later." Fan Ganha was furious when he heard Lin Yi's name. Last time in the cafeteria, he wanted to beat Lin Yi up, but the instructor came before he could do anything. He didn't have the chance to do anything, which made him very frustrated. Cheng Yi will be here tonight. I'll ask her and see if this is true or not. It's easy to offend people. Mengyao didn't know why, but she didn't want to offend Xinyan. Perhaps Xinyan could really become Lin Yi's first wife. Chapter 1971. If that was the case, then the three would have to spend a lot of time together. If they really offended each other, then there would be no turning back. Oh, Yushu nodded unwillingly. Right, Faubert left already? Mengyao didn't see Faubert when she walked into the villa. She only saw Grandma's son working in the kitchen. Yes, he left in the afternoon. Report the results to Uncle Chu. If it's possible, we'll set up a company branch here. Lin Yi said. Mengyao nodded and didn't say anything else. She turned to the cauldron in Lin Yi's hand and asked, "What's that?" "I saw Han Jingjing holding something similar in her hand just now." "Cauldron. I'm going to study alchemy." Han Jingjing seems to be interested in it as well. Lin Yi said. Mengyao didn't ask anything else after hearing that it was about alchemy. Grandma's son quickly placed the delicious dishes on the table. Mengyao and Lin Yi finally understood why a scavenger like Grandma's son could be so good at cooking. She used to be Faubert's wife, the Miss of House Sunday. She used to be the daughter of a rich family. Marrying in a Faubert sect meant marrying into a rich family. She must have received professional training on housekeeping. After dinner, Lin Yi went back to his room. Grandma's son cleaned up the dishes and went back to her room as well. Meng Yao and Yushu sat on the sofa in the living room, watching TV. Why shield bro here every day? He doesn't even play with us. Yushu hugged her legs as she sat on the sofa. She suddenly felt bored. The cartoons that made her laugh didn't seem that funny anymore. Was this what it felt like to grow up? In the blink of an eye, she was already a university student. Her high school days were still vivid in her mind. Isn't he always like this? Meng Yao shook her head. When we were in Songshan, didn't he go to dinner every day? It was just that we were more nervous every day. We'd study and read books after dinner. We didn't have much time to watch TV. That's true. We're just too free now. Yushu said in boredom, Yao Yao, we haven't played in Donghai yet. Why don't we go out for a walk? Today? It's too late. Let's do it on the weekend, after the freshman's gala. Meng Yao was a little tired, and she didn't want to go out again. Lin Yi obviously went out, so she didn't want to disturb Lin Yi. All right, Yushu nodded disappointedly. After Lin Yi went back to his room, he read Hao Sun's arts to Jiao Yazi and started studying the cauldron he just bought. This kind of cauldron was more than enough for a first-level Huang class refiner, because there was a limit to the amount of elixirs a Huang class refiner could concoct, so they didn't need a cauldron that was too good. But the problem was that Lin Yi wasn't even a first-level Huang class refiner. He could only condense the elixir fire, but he couldn't change the temperature or the intensity of the fire. With a slight change, the elixir fire would be extinguished. Lin Yi practiced a few more times, but the result was the same. He could only put the cauldron aside in disappointment. He was a genius in other people's eyes, but in reality, he wasn't much of a genius at all. The only thing he relied on was the art of dragon mastery and the jade space. If it weren't for the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi would just be a very average talent. He was still a golden class master at 18 years old. Compared to those hidden houses and ancient sects, he was an idiot. So Lin Yi didn't force himself and put the cauldron aside. It was just that Lin Yi was worried about Xiao Xiao. 2 years seemed like a long time, but it had already been half a year. There was still a year and a half left, and if she couldn't learn alchemy by then Xiao Xiao would really become an inheritor. After entering the jade space, Lin Yi prepared to continue. There was a saying, hard work makes up for one's lack of talent. Lin Yi was already too far behind Crystal Candy, so he could only rely on hard work and the unique environment in the jade space to catch up. Jiao Lao, how is it? Did you see anything from the arts? Lin Yi asked casually. I did. Jiao Yazi's answer surprised Lin Yi. He thought that Jiao Yazi wouldn't be able to see anything in such a short time, but he really did. What? Lin Yi blinked. This is an incomplete, simplified, and improved first stage of the art of dragon mastery, Jiao Yazi said. Wah! Lin Yi heard Jiao Yazi's words, and his eyes went wide. What? Hao Sun's arts is the art of dragon mastery? Maybe it's from the same source, or maybe it's just a coincidence. This technique should be similar to the first level of the art of dragon mastery, but there are many parts that are incomplete or simplified, but improved. Jiao Yazi nodded and said, the first level of the art of dragon mastery allows one to transfer pure qi to others, repair meridians, and heal injuries. All of these are in the Sun family's techniques, but the art of dragon mastery can only be used by men. YEF equals fastest text update, book C pavilion, no advertising however. The formula is suitable for both men and women. The improved version of the art of dragon mastery? How could the Sun family have such a thing? Isn't the art of dragon mastery unique? Lin Yi was shocked after hearing Jiao Yazi's words. Who said it's unique? The art of dragon mastery, in ancient times, was the mantra of the Yellow Emperor's tribe. However, it evolved into a sect, and with the passage of time, this sect became like Chiyo's chrysanthemum treasured book, gradually declining until it was lost. Jiao Yazi said, the ancestor of Hao Sun might have been one of these sects, but he was talented and only received the incomplete first level of the art of dragon mastery. After improving it himself, it became the Sun family's technique today. So you're saying that my art of dragon mastery isn't unique? Lin Yi said as realization dawned on him. Of course not, but it should have been lost. Otherwise, the Sun family's technique wouldn't be incomplete and only have the first level of the improved version. Jiao Lao said, I see. Jiao Lao's words surprised Lin. The Sun family actually had this kind of opportunity, and the ancestor of House Sun must have been an amazing person. With just the first level of the incomplete technique, he could improve the Sun family's technique. He could be described as a genius. Chapter 1972. What waste of time. There are many extraordinary people in this world. You should be able to feel it. Your talent is actually very ordinary, but you are luckier than them. You have the space of the Jade Pendant and also the art of dragon mastery. Jiao Lao said mercilessly, of course, someone like Bingtang who reached the peak of the late phase of the Heaven class at the age of 10 might not be a genius. If you entered the Jade space 10 years earlier, you would have reached the Heaven class already. So, many things are coincidental. This art of dragon mastery was obtained by Uncle Master by accident. That's why it became your destiny. Elder Jiao, wise the way you talk these days. It's almost like you're talking about some kind of Zen. Linny said, looking at Elder Jiao oddly. It's nothing. I'm just reminding you not to be too proud. You have to be down to earth, Jiao Lao said faintly. But you can also practice the Sun family's technique. It's not too difficult. I can practice it? Wouldn't that waste a lot of time? What's the point of practicing it? Linny asked. It's useless. Your first level of the art of dragon mastery can do everything it can do. But this woman can do it too, Jiao Yazi said. Damn, then why would I waste my time? He was speechless. He closed his eyes and ignored Jiao Lao. He knew he was fooled. A flight slowly landed at the airport of East Ocean City, and a girl with tan skin and oversized sunglasses walked out of the domestic arrival gate in a low-key manner. Zhang Duopan and Fan Ganhe, who were standing not far away, immediately walked up to her. Chung, EF equals fastest text update. Book C Pavilion, no ads. Miss Chung. Zhang Duopan wanted to call Chung Yi, but he was afraid that others would hear him and watch. After all, Chung Yi was a celebrity with a little fame. If she attracted the attention of the media, it would be hard for her to get away. This wheat-skinned girl was Chung Yi. Her skin color looked very healthy and beautiful. This should be the effect of some kind of light, giving people a wild beauty. Compared to Su Shihan's pure white skin, it was even more eye-catching. That was why she instantly gained a lot of popularity after her debut. This was also related to her skin color, which was why she was called a coffee girl. Hello, young Master Pan. Chung Yi also saw Zhang Duopan and walked over quickly. She was the spokesperson of Zhang Duopan's father's company. Naturally, she had seen Zhang Duopan several times at the company's parties and had some impression of him. Haha, Miss Chung, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to help me, Zhang Duopan said as he extended his hand. Chung Yi didn't have the intention to shake hands with him. It could be seen that she wasn't a casual person. So when she saw Zhang Duopan extend his hand, she very naturally passed her luggage to him and smiled. Then I'll have to trouble young Master Pan. Zhang Duopan was slightly stunned. He wanted to shake hands with Chung Yi, but Chung Yi seemed to have misunderstood his meaning. She gave him her luggage, as if she had taken the initiative to ask for help with the bag. However, Zhang Duopan naturally couldn't refuse. He only paused for a moment and took Chung Yi's luggage. This is what I should do. However, his heart wasn't without regret. Although he knew that it wasn't very possible between him and Chung Yi, this kind of thing wasn't something a rich young master like him could do. Moreover, it seemed that Chung Yi wasn't the type of female celebrity that relied on this kind of method to make money and become famous. With Su Xian's halo, she didn't need to do these things at all. She could slowly become famous normally. However, Zhang Duopan still wanted to get closer to Chung Yi. After all, he was also very lecherous. It was just that Chung Yi didn't let him succeed, so he didn't continue. He didn't forget that the main purpose of inviting Chung Yi was to please He Miyu and compete with Bai Weichuo. If he wanted to chase after Chung Yi, then it would be putting the cart before the horse. In the end, it was very likely that he wouldn't be able to chase after Chung Yi, and He Miyu wouldn't be able to catch up. Therefore, he wasn't that impulsive. He pulled Chung Yi's luggage and left the airport with her. They got on the Land Rover Aurora that was parked in the parking lot. Thank you so much this time. You really helped me out. Zhang Duopan got into the driver's seat and said to Chung Yi, who was sitting in the back seat, "It's okay. You're Mr. Zhang's son, and I'm the spokesperson of Mr. Zhang. This little bit of help is nothing." Chung Yi said generously. However, young Master Pan said before that it might be a bit difficult to get first place in the singing category. Even if I'm a celebrity, your Donghai Industry University is one of the best universities in the province. There will always be someone stronger than you. Oh, that's right. Now that you mention this matter, I just remembered something very important. Zhang Duopan's face changed slightly and became very serious. It's like this. Originally, it wouldn't be a problem for us to get first place, but my opponent, the guy that I told you about, the guy that I want to beat, actually used his connections to invite your senior sister. My senior sister? Chung Yi froze and didn't know how to react. It's Su Xian. Fan Gan, he added. They invited Su Xian too? Chung Yi froze. How can my senior sister participate in this kind of small event? As far as I know, she basically doesn't participate in all kinds of events. Oh, Missy, you don't know about this? Zhang Duopan also froze. I'm also very confused. I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm asking you for confirmation. But looking at how confident they are, it seems like it's 80% true, because their classmates said that they already video called Su Shirhan, and Su Shirhan already arranged a program for them in the video. If that's the case, then I'll ask. Chung Yi nodded and took out her phone to call Su Shirhan. Because of Lin Yi's matter, Su Shirhan kept her phone with her and didn't leave it with her manager, Wang Jie. When the phone rang, she picked it up immediately. Why are you calling at this time? Su Shirhan was a bit confused. Why did Chung Yi call so late at night? Senior sister, I just arrived in Donghai City. I heard that you're coming too? Chung Yi asked. What? You're in Donghai City too? Su Shirhan was even more confused. I'm going to Donghai City tomorrow, but why are you in Donghai City too? And how do you know that I'm going too? Target equals _blank. It's not that we don't work hard, but if we don't participate, it's a matter of attitude. You're quite open-minded. I'll help you then. Chung Yi nodded. The best hotel near the school was Shueshang Hotel. Zhang Duopan booked a double presidential suite for Chung Yi here. It wasn't as luxurious as a 5-star hotel, but it was the best in this hotel. Luckily, Chung Yi didn't mind it and checked in right away. Zhang Duopan didn't bother Chung Yi anymore. He promised her that he would pick her up tomorrow and go to the school to rehearse the show. He then left the hotel. Su Shirhan originally planned to go to East Ocean City with Sister Wang and Feng San Wang, but Chung Yi was there as well. She thought that Chung Yi was right, and it was meaningless to bring a driver and manager to a private event. Therefore, she booked her own ticket online. In the ancient house of Feng, Feng Tianhu sat quietly on the bed. Feng Nitian's injuries were very serious. His meridians were all broken, and he was like a vegetable right now. He had fainted after the Ice Palace test and hadn't woken up since. House Feng had also stopped supplying Nitian with the best herbs and treasures. This was because in the ancient houses, profit was the most important thing. Nitian wouldn't be able to recover no matter how many treasures he ate. Even if he used the Great Recover Pill and the Meridian Opening Pill, he would only be able to become a normal, healthy person, but the damaged meridians wouldn't be able to recover completely. It was impossible for him to continue practicing. Even the alchemists from the Sky Elixir sect couldn't do anything. And so, Feng Tianhu was very angry. Nitian was his only hope. Although he had a son, his son's potential was far from Nitian's. His son only knew how to enjoy life, and he wasn't a good cultivator at all, of course, although House Feng had given up on Nitian. Feng Tianhu hadn't. On one hand, he sent people to find the person who hurt Nitian, and on the other hand, he sent people to find a miracle doctor or medicine that could cure Nitian. Of course, he knew that the resources he had were limited. If he wanted to find a large amount of medicine and cure Nitian at all costs, he had to climb up to the peak of power in House Feng. He had to become the young master of the house, and only then would he be able to use more resources. Only then would he be able to cure Nitian. Feng Tianlin, it's not your son who's injured, and yet you're making sarcastic remarks in a family meeting. If I don't cause you some trouble, then I'll be letting you off too easily. Feng Tianhu shook his head and said faintly. However, just as he finished speaking, the phone rang. Feng Tianhu picked it up, and it was a deep male voice. This man was called Feng Sanku, and he was Feng Tianhu's follower. He was also the spy he sent to the common world to gather information. He was one of the more outstanding third-generation disciples of House Feng, and he was at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class. Back then, the hidden houses had an agreement that Earth-class experts couldn't casually come out into the world. Although it was a rule set by the hidden houses, it was a condition set by the Hidden Houses Arbitration Association. The Grand Elder of the Hidden House was someone who could fight against the ancient sects, and the founder was even more terrifying. Even the ancient sects and ancient houses had to treat him with respect. Although he had already left, the ancient sects still didn't send any Earth-class experts to the common world because of his reputation. But now, it was different. Since the hidden houses had broken the rule and sent out their Earth-class masters without any punishment or restrictions, the Hidden House Association didn't do anything. He stretched his body. It was another beautiful day. The second stage of the art of dragon mastery was different from the increase in strength. The cultivation of the art of dragon mastery was a normal process of accumulating pure qi. Only through continuous accumulation of pure qi could one reach a higher level. However, there was no barrier like the level of strength. Perhaps it was because the first two stages were easier, but whether the later stages were easier or not, he didn't know. Anyway, every morning when Lin Yi came out of the space in the jade pendant, he could feel his improvement. Unknowingly, the second stage of the art of dragon mastery was about 1/5 of the progress, which was 20%. Lin Yi was quite satisfied with this progress. It hadn't been long, and he was already 1/5 of the way. Although the speed wasn't uniform, it would get slower and slower, but it was still much easier than the first stage. Lin Yi washed his face and went to the kitchen. Most of the time, Lin Yi cooked breakfast himself. Although Grandma's son was there, Lin Yi was used to making breakfast for the Miss and Shu. It was a habit he brought with him from Songshan, and he couldn't change it even if he wanted to. Grandma's son sometimes saw Lin Yi making breakfast, so she didn't disturb him. When breakfast was ready, the Miss and Shu woke up. Yushu saw that it was Lin Yi who made breakfast today, and she was very happy. Wow, I haven't eaten Shield Bro's food in a long time. It's great that I have something to eat today. Ahem, Shu. Meng Yao gave Yushu a kick. Why was this girl talking so flirtatiously? It's been a long time since I've eaten Shield Bro's food. What do you want to eat? This reminded Meng Yao of Jiang Wen's condor cake, or something. What's wrong? Yao Yao, don't you like Shield Bro's breakfast? Yushu asked curiously. Why did you kick me? I'm just telling the truth. I like it too. Hurry up and eat. Meng Yao didn't want to explain anymore. She sat down and picked up the chopsticks and started eating. That's weird. Why is Yao Yao acting crazy so early in the morning? Is she on her period? No, it's around the same time as me. We're together. I'm not on my period yet. Yushu mumbled to herself. Shu, go play somewhere else if you're not eating. Meng Yao almost went berserk after hearing Yushu's words. Ugh, I'm eating, Yushu said. There were signs of her period coming, but why was it early? Could it be that Yao Yao sis had sex with Shield Bro secretly, and then took birth control pills? Yushu thought wickedly. After breakfast, Lin Yi and the other two got ready to go to school. They didn't want to call Han Jingjing and Xiao Qiao, but their X5M wasn't back yet, so Lin Yi knocked on the fence of the villa, believing that Han Jingjing could hear them. As expected, Han Jingjing brought Han Xiao Qiao out of the villa, but Han Jingjing's eyes were red as if she didn't sleep well the whole night. This surprised Lin. Jingjing, what's wrong? You didn't sleep well? Ming Yao saw Han Jingjing's face and asked curiously, "Ugh, I was studying alchemy last night, and I lost track of time. It's already morning," Han Jingjing said, a little embarrassed. "Ah, you studied it the whole night? What did you find out?" Ming Yao asked, surprised. She didn't think that a girl like Han Jingjing would be so interested in alchemy. "I didn't find anything." Han Jingjing felt even more embarrassed when she said that. "Ugh." Ming Yao paused, not knowing what to say. Lin Yi, on the other hand, smiled bitterly and shook his head. It seemed that Han Jingjing was also a dabbler, thinking the same thing whenever she wanted. After driving to school, they separated at the parking lot. Lin Yi and Han Jingjing walked to the biology building. You guys are rehearsing?" Boss Bai saw the lively scene in the classroom and asked. "Yes, Professor Bai." Bai Weido nodded and said, "In that case, we'll cancel the classes in the morning. You guys can continue with your rehearsals. There are no classes today and tomorrow. You guys should strive to get a good ranking for our Faculty of Medicine during the freshmen's evening party tomorrow night." Boss Bai directly made the decision to cancel the class. "Our medical major hasn't won an award for several years. It's all because of that little bastard by Wei Kai. His ability is too weak." "You're not bad." Actually, it's all Brother Lin's credit." Bai Weido didn't dare to take all the credit and quickly said, "Oh." Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi deeply and said to him, "Lin Yi, after the freshman party, come find me. Have you thought about what I told you before?" "Before?" Lin Yi was slightly stunned. He thought that Boss Bai was going to teach him some special medical skills, but what exactly was this medical skill? At this moment, Lin Yi's view of Boss Bai was completely different. Before, in Lin Yi's opinion, no matter how powerful Boss Bai was, he was just a character similar to Old Man Lin. However, since Lin Yi saw Yu Coiling Tiger's respect for Boss Bai and his respectful and serious attitude in class, it made Lin Yi feel that Boss Bai was really not ordinary. The Hidden Yu family was a big hidden family in alchemy and medicine. Their children were actually studying here so humbly. So how could Boss Bai be ordinary? After listening to Boss Bai's class, Lin Yi also had a refreshing feeling. Many of Boss Bai's theories were different from Old Man Lin's. Although both of them were right, their directions were different, which broadened Lin Yi's thinking a lot and increased his knowledge a lot. Just the basic knowledge was already like this, so what special medical skills would Boss Bai be talking about? Thinking of this, Lin Yi couldn't help but look forward to it. Thinking back to the beginning, Lin Yi didn't take it seriously, but now it seemed that he had underestimated Boss Bai. "Okay, after the freshman party, I'll find a time to go and find you." Lin Yi nodded and said. Hearing Lin Yi agree, Boss Bai chuckled and was very happy in his heart. He thought, "Kid, weren't you not interested in it at the beginning? Now, after listening to a few of my classes, you think it's different, right?" Although he didn't know why Boss Bai was looking for Lin Yi, after Yu Coiling Tiger heard it, a look of envy and jealousy flashed across his eyes. He had wanted to visit Boss Bai alone for a long time, but he never had the chance. He didn't expect Boss Bai to take the initiative to invite Lin Yi to find him. This made Yu Coiling Tiger think if he should also visit after the freshman party. Boss Bai didn't invite him, but if he went, he couldn't drive him away, right? After Boss Bai finished speaking, he turned around and left, while Bai Weibo continued to rehearse with the students. Yu Coiling Tiger and his two color-haired subordinates didn't perform or cause trouble, so they sat there as ordinary extras like Lin Yi. Bai Weibo knew that these three guys were not sociable, so he didn't deliberately ask them to do anything. In fact, if it weren't for Boss Bai, Yu Coiling Tiger wouldn't even bother to participate. But in Boss Bai's territory, he wanted to learn more knowledge, so he naturally couldn't go too far. If he didn't participate, wouldn't it be disrespecting Boss Bai? Moreover, it wasn't troublesome to act as an extra. All he had to do was sit there and hum a few times to harmonize. It was quite simple. The morning passed quickly, and it was time for lunch break. After a while, Su Shirhan's flight information was broadcasted. The flight had already landed, and there would probably be passengers coming out in a while. Sure enough, not long after, a group of people walked out of the exit. In this group, there was a person wearing a black trench coat, a black cap, oversized sunglasses, and an oversized scarf. If it wasn't for the figure, it was hard to tell whether it was a man or a woman. This person was obviously Su Shirhan. She was much more disguised than Cheng Yi, but Su Shirhan was much more famous than Cheng Yi, so her armor was much tighter. Cheng Yi was more familiar with Su Shirhan. She immediately recognized Su Shirhan and waved at her. Han sis. Hee hee hee. Shirhan also saw Cheng Yi and nodded to her with a smile. Cheng Yi didn't call Su Shirhan by her name. She only called her sister Han, so no one in the airport would think too much about it. Su Shirhan also saw Lin Yi not far away. She was a bit surprised that Lin Yi came to pick her up. She thought that Lin Yi wouldn't come because this guy never came to pick her up. Whether she came to endorse products or to support Lin Yi's products, she came by herself. So this time, she didn't think that Lin Yi would come pick her up. Lin Yi, you actually came? Su Shirhan was very surprised. And you didn't bring a driver this time, nor did you bring a manager. Of course, I came to pick you up. Lin Yi nodded. How rare. Then let's go. I'm staying at Shueshang Hotel. He already booked a room for me. Su Shirhan said. Su Shirhan's words obviously meant that she was going to leave with Lin Yi. This made Zhang Duopan feel a bit embarrassed. He just swore to Lin Yi that he came for nothing, but from the looks of it, Su Shirhan seemed to be very friendly towards Lin Yi. What was the relationship between these two? It didn't seem to be a simple hire. Senior sister, take her car later? Let's go to the hotel directly. We don't need to trouble your friend, right? Cheng Yi saw that Zhang Duopan was unhappy, and she didn't mind helping him. This was just a small matter to her. No need. I'll take Lin Yi's car. Su Shirhan smiled and said, see you at the hotel later. That's fine too. Cheng Yi was also slightly dazed. Su Shirhan actually rejected? What was the relationship between her and Lin Yi? Normally, in the company, when attending events, Su Shirhan would often ride in the same car as her. Even if they weren't in the same car, Su Shirhan would gladly agree if she invited her. But today, Su Shirhan rejected. Seeing that Cheng Yi was rejected, Zhang Duopan's face darkened even more. It seemed that picking her up at the airport was a bit unnecessary. Out of the airport, the two cars went on the highway one after another. Zhang Duopan was unhappy and didn't wait for Lin Yi. He stepped on the gas, and the car flew out, speeding all the way back to the hotel. What is the relationship between that Lin Yi and Su Shirhan? Why does he look like a good person? He doesn't even give you face? Zhang Duopan was very unhappy and complained. Hee, maybe they're very good friends? Cheng Yi wasn't angry and instead sent a text. The signal here doesn't seem to be very good. There might be a shield near the airport. Zhang Duopan said, you want to use a phone? You can use mine. I have a signal. Thanks, no need. I'll just send a text and tell the people in the company that I've picked up senior sister. Cheng Yi waved her hand and said, Lin Yi clearly saw a Rolls-Royce drive by, but he didn't see them rob it. And if it was just a simple robbery, wouldn't it be too wasteful to send a mystic late-phase peak master? But all these guesses were pointless. After Lin Yi told Su Shirhan, he got out of the car. The mystic late-phase peak master didn't move. Instead, 3 men in black suits got out of the other 3 cars. They pointed their guns at Lin Yi. Kid, tell the people in the car to get out. Otherwise, don't blame us for shooting you. People in the car? Lin Yi was startled. Were these people trying to kidnap Su Shirhan? It didn't seem like they were targeting him. Otherwise, no matter how powerful an enemy was, they wouldn't send 3 normal people with guns to aim at an Earth-class master, unless they were crazy. Shut up and do it, a man in black scolded. You're here for Su Shirhan? Who sent you? Tell me, and I won't kill you. Lin Yi looked at the man in black and said indifferently, Huh, kid, you want to kill us? The man in black thought that he had misheard and immediately laughed loudly. You mean you can kill us? Is that so? Yes, since you missed the chance, there's no need to say any more. Lin Yi's hand shook, and a silver needle shot out, sinking into the man's chest. The man didn't even make a sound before falling to the ground. Lin, he didn't even need to use pure chi to kill the man in black, because he was just a normal person. At most, he was a cultivator who had just stepped into the door of martial arts. He wasn't even a golden class master. The other two people sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't think that this person would do it without any hesitation. The scariest thing was that they didn't see it clearly. They didn't know how Lin Yi killed the man in black. "Is you, who are you?" One of the two men in black asked. "It's your turn. Who sent you?" Lin Yi asked. "Who are you? Why are you here?" The man in black asked nervously. "You've also lost your value." Lin Yi shook his wrist, and the second man in black fell to the ground. You. The third man in black was stunned. He still did not know how his two companions died, so he subconsciously stuttered a little. After saying the word "you" a few times, he hurriedly looked at the Audi A6 beside him and said, "Brother Samley, there's something wrong. Please save me quickly." Actually, there was no need for the third man to speak. The man in black in the Audi A6 couldn't sit still anymore. He opened the door and got out of the car. It was a man wearing a black mask. The three people before didn't have their faces covered. Only a pair of cold eyes could be seen. He looked at Lin Yi coldly and said condescendingly, "It seems that he values Miss Su quite a bit. He also sent a driver here. But your strength isn't enough. Although you have flying needles, you haven't cultivated pure chi yet. You can't use the natural chi around you. It seems that you're not a cultivator." "Who sent you here? My patience is limited," Lin Yi said indifferently. Although Lin Yi wasn't afraid of trouble, it was obvious that this was the airport highway. There were a lot of cars coming and going. Lin Yi was afraid that Su Shirhan's identity would be exposed. So, Lin Yi wanted to end this quickly. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.